Welcome all. Yet another session. We are going to discuss the GE Mains paper conducted on January 9th, GE Mains 2020, January 9th, shift 2 paper, evening shift paper we are going to discuss now. Okay, let's start. The first question. Consider the following reaction. There is a compound P given. It is said to treat with NaNO2 HCl 0 to 5 degrees Celsius, followed by reacting with the beta naphthol. You get a colored solid. That colored solid obtained with the beta naphthol and is given with the NaNO2 HCl. So it must be a diazonium salt. A diazonium salt interacting with the beta naphthol giving a colored product. It must be. Now, the same P react with the bromine water, you get a tribromo derivative. Tribromo derivative. Now, number one, we have to think about formation of diazonium salt, which is possible with the primary aniline molecules. So, straight away you can eliminate option B, which is a secondary amino molecule, secondary aniline molecule. The others are primary. Now, see what is the reaction and which one can give you tribromo substituent when treated with the NaNO2 HCl. That is what we have to investigate. By simple analysis, you can conclude it could be option C, which will give you a tri-substituted product. A tri-substituted product. How is that possible? Let's see. If you take the third molecule, by simple analysis you can conclude to that. That is NS2 here and CH3 here when treated with the bromine water. You see this is ortho-para directive. So this ortho position or this ortho position, and this is ortho-para directive. This ortho position and para position. So easily the three positions can be occupied. While if you take this molecule, no, this is ortho position, but it is meta position for this. This is ortho position for NS2, but it is meta position for CS3. So we can't expect a tri-substitution most effectively at that point. While here, you see, these two positions are ortho for this and para for this. And this position, it is para for this one and ortho for this one. So these three positions, you can easily make a bromination substitution and you can get the product. Tribromo product. That is the prime importance. You get a bromine comes here, a bromine comes here, and already there is a CH3 here and a bromine comes here. And this product can be achieved easily in option C. And now, what about the other reaction? This one treated with the NaNO2 HCl. You will get a diazonium salt. That means you get N2 plus and Cl minus, and there is a CS3 here. Now that with the beta naphthol, this with the beta naphthol. What is beta naphthol? This is beta naphthol. You see, at the ortho position of here, there can be a coupling reaction. This position, it can make a coupling reaction and you will get a coupled product, which is the colored solid product explained there. So first of all, we will eliminate this one because that is a secondary aniline product, compound. Then you can go for this and this. Here what the point is, see, you can think about this position which is para to NH2, but it is meta to CS3. You can think about this position that is para to CS3, but it is meta to NH2. You can think about this position that is ortho to CH3 but meta to NH2. You can think about this position, that is ortho to NH2 but meta to CH3. So such issues are arising there, and most appropriate possible answer we can select perfectly, it is option C. Next question. Among the statements A to D, the correct ones, lithium has highest hydration enthalpy among alkali metals. Textbook information with the data given. Lithium chloride is insoluble in pyridine. Wrong statement, again textbook information. Lithium cannot form ethanide upon its reaction with the ethane. Lithium does not give ethanide. Anomalous properties of lithium. Go through. Both lithium and magnesium react slowly with water. Diagonal similarity. So the correct answer is A, C and D. A, C and D. B is the correct answer. Next. The solubility product of CrOH thrice at 298 Kelvin given. KSP value of CrOH thrice is given. The concentration of hydroxide ions in a saturated solution of CrOH thrice will be. So it is CrOH thrice will give you Cr3 plus and 3OH minus. Suppose S is the solubility, this is S and this is 3S. Right? Therefore, it is S into 3S the whole raised to 3. That is equal to KSP. That is equal to 6 into 10 power minus 31. What we need to find out is 3S. This is the concentration of OH minus. 3S is the concentration of OH minus that we need to find out. So simple mathematical idea you can put. You multiply both sides with the 3. It becomes 3 into S into 3S the whole cube is equal to 6 into 10 power minus 31. And you know that becomes 3S the whole raised to 4 equal to, I forgot to multiply here, 6 into 10 power minus 31 into 3, that becomes 18 into 10 power minus 31. See, always you must keep, when you do the numerical calculation, always you must keep an eye in the option. To what extent we need to do the calculation, that's very important. To what extent we need to do the calculation, that is very important. What we need to find out is 3S, that is the concentration of OH minus. So now it's over. 3S raised to 4 is equal to that value. 3S raised to 4 is equal to that value, and all choices are given raised to 1 by 4. So what is 3S? Therefore, 3S is equal to 18 into 10 power minus 31 whole raised to 1 by 4. This is the way the answers are reported. And the correct answer is option box. Chromium hydroxide, solubility if it is S, Cr is S and OH minus is 3S. And our point is, what is this 3S? What is the concentration of hydroxide ions? That is a question. So S into 3S raised to 3 is equal to KSP. I just put 3 on both sides. Now it becomes 3S into 3S raised to 3 becomes 3S whole raised to 4. That is 6 into 3, 18 into 10 power minus 31. So what is 3S? Next. Which of the following has shortest carbon-chlorine bond? Shortest carbon-chlorine bond. All are vinylic. Therefore, there is a partial double bond character. So where it is maximum? No doubt option B. Why? Because the lone pair of electron with the chlorine giving a plus M effect, and thereby there is a partial double bond character, and this effect will be high because this is having a minus I effect or minus R effect. This is having a minus M effect. So this plus M effect will be maximum due to the electron withdrawing nature of NO2 here. So this will be maximum happening and the partial double bond character will be here maximum. Here it is CH3, only hyperconjugative effect on the plus psi effect. It is having plus psi effect. And this is also having electron donating character. While NO2 group is electron withdrawing group. Electron withdrawing group. That enhances the plus M effect of chlorine, giving a partial double bond character between carbon and chlorine. That will give you maximum partial double bond character between carbon and chlorine and shortest bond length. The bond length shortest is our point of discussion. Next question. The reaction H3N3B3Cl3. H3N3B3Cl3, that is A. H3N3B3Cl3, that is a trichloro-substituted compound of borazine. You know borazine, B3N3H6. 3 hydrogen atom replaced with the chlorine. You get chloro-substituted borazine. With the lithium borohydride in tetrahydrofuran gives inorganic benzene. Inorganic benzene is called borazine. B3N3H6 called borazine. Well explained in the textbook. Further, the reaction of A with the C leads to H3N3B3Me3. See that chlorine is replaced with the methyl group. 3 chlorine is replaced with the methyl group. The point is compound B and C. B is borazine. B is borazine. Therefore, these two choices are eliminated. It can be borazine and MEBr, borazine and MEMGBr, and this is the correct answer because MEMGBr, that is a Grignard reagent. A Grignard reagent can substitute to chlorine effectively with the methyl group. You see, this chlorine we need to substitute with the Me group. Here given is MEBr, alkyl bromide. Here it is Grignard reagent. A Grignard reagent can trigger that substitution more effectively, all of you know. Grignard reagent is so important due to high polar nature of carbon-magnesium bond. Right? Next. The first and second ionization enthalpy of metal are. The first and second ionization enthalpy of metal are 496 and 4560 kilojoule per mole. So the metal can be an alkali metal. 490, a very low first value. 4600, a very high second value. It could be group 1 element. How many moles of HCl and sulfuric acid respectively will be needed to react completely with 1 mole of metal hydroxide? So the metal hydroxide may be, for example, NaOH, because the value first one is very low and the second value is very high. That means it can be group 1 where there is 1 valence electron. So removal of that 1 valence electron, alkali metals, low ionization enthalpy, while the second electron you are removing from the core of the system, very high values required. So it may be a metal hydroxide, alkali metal hydroxide. This you are taking 1 mole. The question is, how many moles of HCl and sulfuric acid is required? If it is reacting with the HCl, it need 1 mole. If it is reacting with the H2SO4, this is monoacidic base and this is monobasic acid. So these two will be reacting 1 mole, 1 mole, while these two will be reacting 1 mole with a half mole. You know the reaction? 2NaOH plus H2SO4, you get the product. So 2 mole react with 1 mole. Therefore, 1 mole react with a half mole. While these two, 1 mole react. NaOH and HCl, 1 mole each react. While these reacting will be 2 with 1. Therefore, 1 with half. So the answer is, respectively for HCl and sulfuric acid, 1 and half. 1 and half. D is the correct answer. Next. The decreasing order of basicity of the following amines. Decreasing order of basicity of the following amines. Upon investigation, you can understand 3 is maximum because it is aliphatic amine. This is aliphatic amine, 3 will be maximum. 3 maximum means these two choices out. So either this or this. After 3, it will be pyridine. After 3, it will be pyridine, an excellent base. So 3, then it is 2, then it is aniline. Then it is aniline, and the least is 4th one. 4th one is least because that electrons are completely utilized for aromaticity. These electrons are completely utilized for aromaticity, and that will be minimum. So the order is 3 maximum, 4 minimum, both are same. Then after 3 it will be 2. The correct answer is D. This base, it can be confirmed based on the corresponding pKb values also. Next. In the following reaction, A is. So starting with the A, undergoing a sequence of reaction, you get the final product. So let us take option A and investigate. Let us take option A and investigate. So I am taking A, which is cyclohexane, treated for bromination. Assuming monobromination, I am writing more bromocyclohexane. Now alcoholic KOH, it will be elimination reaction, dehydrohalogenation, we get cyclohexene. So first one, bromine is added, first step reaction, bromine is added, you get bromocyclohexane. Second step, alcoholic KOH, there is dehydrohalogenation, you get cyclohexene. Now this is treated with the ozonolysis, third step, ozonolysis. Ozonolysis product finding is so simple, just break over the double bond, this carbon becomes CHO and this carbon becomes CHO, so the product there will be CHO. This is the product. Now basically 3 and 4 together only. 3 and 4, it is together only because added with the ozone. This is reductive ozonolysis. Added with the ozone and dimethyl sulfide. Dimethyl sulfide is same as what we use zinc with the water. Reductive cleavage. So the final product is followed by 3 and 4. It is basically by 3 and 4. 3 and 4. You get this one. Now the last one is intramolecular aldol condensation. Last one. It is intramolecular aldol condensation. What is intramolecular aldol condensation? The base OH minus attack on the alpha hydrogen, and thereby you get a carbanion like this. You get a carbanion like this, and this carbanion nucleophilic addition over the next carbon. That is the carbonyl carbon. That is what the mechanism for aldol condensation. Alpha hydrogen removed by the base, you get a carbanion, and that carbanion attack on the carbonyl carbon, and that carbonyl carbon turn OH group, and it becomes a ring complex. Ring compound. How much membered ring? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 membered ring. You get a 5 membered ring. And this CHO becomes CHOH group. So I'm labeling, this is 1 carbon, 2 carbon, 3 carbon, 4 carbon, 5 carbon. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th carbon. 5th carbon contain a CHO group. 5th carbon contain a CHO group. Now it is heated also. When heated, there will be dehydration. This OH when removed, this hydrogen will be removed. There will be a double bond giving a conjugated stable product, and this is the product obtained. This is the product obtained. Does that match with the product? Does that match with the product? Yes. That is what the answer basically. See that there is a CHO group, there is a pentagonal ring, and there is a double bond. There is a CHO group, pentagonal ring, and a double bond, conjugated double bond. So, by the investigation of the first compound itself, we have arrived into the answer. Option A is the correct answer. I repeat, cyclohexane, bromination, you get bromocyclohexane. Dehydrohalogenation, we get cyclohexane. Ozonolysis followed by reduction cleavage, you get a diol, hexane diol. Now, hexane diol, when treated with alkali, there will be intramolecular aldol condensation. And it will give you an aldol, which will be taken to an unsaturated stable aldehyde. Next. The correct order of spin-only magnetic moment for the following complexes. Spin-only magnetic moment. So here chromium is +2 state. Chromium is +2 state, as water molecule is neutral and bromine is 2 bromine available. Chromium +2 state means, you know chromium, it is D5S1. +2 state means D4 system. Being a weak ligand, the number of unpaired electron will be 4. Next one, Na4FeCN6. Na4FeCN6. There it is Fe2+. There it is Fe2+. Fe2+, you know, iron. It is D6S2 configuration. Therefore, Fe2+ means it is D6 configuration. But the problem there is cyanide. Cyanide is a strong ligand. Cyanide is a strong ligand. Therefore, splitting, delta O splitting will be large. So what happens is D6 system will go for 1, 2, 3. The fourth electron unable to go to EG orbital. This is T2G orbital, and here we have EG orbital. So 6 electron, 1, 2, 3. Fourth one unable to go to EG and get paired up. 4, 5, 6. All electrons are paired. So here the number of unpaired electron is 0. Coming to next one, third one, Na3FeC2O4 thrice. There it is, iron 3+. There it is, here it is iron 3+. Iron 3+, iron 2+ makes D6 system, and iron 3+ will go for D5 system. D5 system. Again it is commented delta O is large. Delta O is large. D5 system. So it is 1, 2, 3. Fourth electron unable to go to EG. So it will be D4 and D5. You have one unpaired electron. So this will contain one unpaired electron. Coming to last, Et4N twice, COCl4. It is evident that the species is COCl2 minus. COCl2 minus. This 2 is coming here. So cobalt is 2+ state. Cobalt is 2+ state. You know cobalt makes D7S2 system. Cobalt makes D7S2 system. Cobalt 2+ means it is D7 system. Now it is a tetrahedral complex. It is 4 coordinated complex. So it is going to be EG at the bottom and T2G at the top. Now 7 electron will go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 3 unpaired electrons. In this unit, there are 3 unpaired electrons, and hence you can find the order. Maximum 1 itself will give you the answer. C is the correct answer. Now let us examine once again. Maximum 1, then it is 4, then it is 3, and minimum it is 2. Hence the final answer. Next question. 5 gram zinc is treated separately with an excess of 5 grams zinc is separately treated with an excess of dilute hydrochloric acid and aqueous sodium hydroxide. The ratio of volumes of hydrogen evolved in these two reactions will be, see, zinc reacting with HCl or NaOH, equal quantity of hydrogen gas is liberated. Equal quantity of hydrogen gas is liberated. In this case, you will be getting ZnCl2 liberating H2. In this case, you will get Na2ZnO2 plus H2. So both the quantity of hydrogen liberated is same and it is 1:1. Option B, a simple question. Next. In the figure shown below, reactant A represented by square is in equilibrium with the product B represented by circle. The equilibrium constant is. See, this is one question which there was a simple mistake in the question as they forgot to give the stoichiometry of the reaction. See, without stoichiometry, we can't conclude the equilibrium constant. Stoichiometry plays a vital role in deciding equilibrium constant, writing equilibrium constant, right? That is law of equilibrium. That is law of equilibrium. Unfortunately, here the stoichiometry is not given. Let us assume the stoichiometry to be A giving B, the fundamental stoichiometry. So, equilibrium constant K is equal to concentration of B by concentration of A. So, what is the concentration of B? B is circle. So, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So, it is 11 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. So, it is close to the figure of 2. Close to the figure of 2. Answer can be close to 2. Maybe they just forgot to draw one more circle. Then it is 12 by 6, 12 exactly. But still there is a problem. This stoichiometry is not given. That stoichiometry is not given. That stoichiometry plays a vital role deciding equilibrium constant. So maybe the answer is option D, or the question may be deleted because the solution is, the stoichiometric equation is not given. Okay, next. A mixture of gases, oxygen, hydrogen, carbon monoxide taken in a closed vessel containing charcoal. The graph that represents the correct behavior of pressure with the time. No doubt, simple one. There will be absorption. There will be absorption. Gases will be absorbed over the charcoal and the pressure will drop. The gaseous molecules will come and absorb over the charcoal. Obviously, the pressure inside the vessel will drop. You see, pressure versus time. Pressure will drop. That is the correct answer. Which of the following will not produce a racemic product? Which is not going to give you a racemic product? Means optically active mixture. Option A will give you a racemic product because over this carbon there is a chirality. See, when HCN is added, you will get CH3, COH, CN, CH2, CH3. During the addition, it may give you certain degree of racemization, definitely. Option B. Yes, you can get a racemization there because it is given like this. There is CH3 and there is CH3, isn't it? Yes. Now you are adding HCl. Now you are adding HCl means this double bond will go. This double bond will go. And you see the net result will be, here is going to be chlorine. Here is going to be chlorine. And this carbon, double bond is removed and chlorine is added. That carbon turn chiral. And that can give you certain degree of racemization, definitely. Now, butene with HBr, you will get CH3, CH2, CHBr, CH3. Marconic of addition. Definitely, this carbon is chiral. It can give you certain degree of racemization. Now here, obviously the answer could be this one. Obviously the answer could be this one. Here, there can be racemic product obtained, but when you take the major product, you won't get a racemization, you don't get an active molecule. Major product does not give you an optically active molecule. See what happens. This molecule is getting protonated. You will get CH3, C, CH3, CH plus, CH3. It is getting protonated and you get a stable, relatively stable secondary carbocation. Relatively stable secondary carbocation. Now this undergo a rearrangement. This hydrogen migrate to get a tertiary carbocation. CH3C, CH3 plus, CH2, CH3. And now chlorine comes there. Now chlorine comes there. You get CH3C, CH3, Cl, CH2, CH3. Now you can easily understand this is not a chiral center. This is not a chiral center. It is not a chiral center as these two groups are same. But that is the major product. So when you look at the major product obtained, in each case I have taken the major product. When you look at the major product, there is chirality over here, there and here. But in this case, major product does not give you an optically active molecule, and that we can take it as the correct answer, option D. Next question. Which polymer has chiral monomers? Chiral monomers. Simple one, PHBV. PHBV, poly-beta hydroxybutyrate, beta hydroxyvalerate, poly-beta hydroxybutyrate, co-beta hydroxyvalerate. Both the monomers contain chiral center. It is CH3CH, OH, CH2COOH. This is alpha carbon, this is beta carbon, beta hydroxybutyrate, beta hydroxybutyric acid. This is one monomer. This is one monomer. And the other one is CH3CH2, CHOH, CH2COOH. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is once again alpha carbon, beta hydroxyvaleric acid. This is beta hydroxybutyric acid and this is beta hydroxyvaleric acid. Both are optically active chiral molecules. And that upon condensation we get the biodegradable PHBV, an ester polymer. That is the answer. Next. Number of sp2 hybrid orbitals in a molecule of benzene. Number of sp2 hybrid orbitals in a molecule of benzene. This is benzene. Number of sp2 hybrid orbitals. When you look at one carbon, see, if you take a carbon here, it is maintaining sp2 hybridization. One this way, one this way, one this way. This carbon maintain sp2 hybridization, means there are 3 orbitals, one here, one here, one here. There are 6 carbon atoms. Totally it is 18. 6 into 3. Each carbon make 3 sp2 hybrid orbital. So the answer is option C, 18. 6 into 3. Each carbon atom, there are 3 sp2 hybrid orbitals. 18. Next. Among the following form of water, lowest ionic conductance. Lowest ionic conductance. Distilled water, saline water, water from well, sea water, distilled water. All others are rich with salt. All others are rich with salt. And it's an excellent conductor of electricity because they are more electrolytic in nature. Pure water is a bad conductor of electricity relatively. Next. A, B, C are 3 biomolecules. The results of test performed on them are given below. A, Molish test. You know, Molish test is meant for carbohydrates. Molish test is meant for carbohydrates. You get a colored compound with the beta naphthol. It is for carbohydrates. Barfoot test. It is with the copper 2 acetate. The reduction of copper 2 acetate is utilized there. It is a test for monosaccharides. Molish test is meant for carbohydrates. And Barfoot test is meant for monosaccharides with the copper 2 acetate converted to copper 1 oxide, something like that. Biuret test, again with the copper molecule, copper salts giving colored compound. Biuret test, that is for amides, peptides, proteins. That is for alpha amino acid containing protein molecules. Okay. So Molish test meant for carbohydrates. Barfoot test meant for monosaccharides. And Biuret test meant for proteins. A, positive, negative, negative. Suppose you are taking option A, which is glucose. Glucose is a carbohydrate, so the test is positive. Agreed. It is a monosaccharide. The test is negative, so this choice is out. Glucose A is a carbohydrate, so positive test. Agreed. Now the test for A is listed here. Now glucose, you know, it is a monosaccharide, so the test here it is negative. That means this choice is wrong. Let us take choice B. Lactose. Lactose is a carbohydrate. Lactose is a carbohydrate, so the test is positive. And the test here is negative. Yes, lactose is not a monosaccharide. Lactose is a disaccharide. A disaccharide is not answering Barfoot test. And of course, it is not a protein. So A is correct. A is correct. Now let us examine B. Glucose. B. Positive test. We know glucose is a carbohydrate. Positive test. Barfoot test positive. Yes, it is a monosaccharide. And Biuret test negative. Yes, it's not a proteinous component. Now albumin. Option C. Albumin is a protein, all of you know. See, the test for carbohydrate is negative. Correct. Test for Barfoot test is negative. Correct. While this is positive. So the answer is option B. Lactose is a carbohydrate but not a monosaccharide. So this test is positive, this is negative, that is negative. Glucose is a carbohydrate and it is a monosaccharide. This is positive, while it is not a protein, negative. Now albumin, it's a protein. So this is negative, that will be positive. A simple, beautiful question based on some additional point of informations not referred in the textbook. Next. The true statement among the following is true statement. You have to find the true statement. Both delta S and S are function of temperature. Yes, that is a true statement. Both entropy and change in entropy are a function of temperature. So with the temperature, entropy variations can be observed. That is the true statement. Not a function. Wrong statement. S is not a function of temperature. Delta S is. Yes. So it's a simple point on thermodynamic aspects regarding delta S and S. Both are temperature dependent functions. Biological oxygen demand, biochemical oxygen demand for sustaining life. No, wrong statement. By bacteria to break down organic waste in a certain volume of water sample. Yes, this is the correct answer. BOD is meant for degradation of biological sample of organic waste, while COD is meant for every components. Whether organic or inorganic impurities will be tested in COD. Okay. Next. Isomers of CONS3,4Cl2 that have chlorine, cobalt, chlorine angle 90 degree. Chlorine, cobalt, chlorine angle 90 degree. Meridional trans, cis and trans, trans only, cis only. It is an octahedral complex which will give you cis and trans. and you get 90 degree only in cis. You see, cobalt like this, chlorine comes like this. It can give you 90 degree bond angle. Chlorine, cobalt, chlorine, when comes like this, it can make 90 degree bond angle. Only in cis. Suppose chlorine coming opposite, there is no 90 degree bond angle. Cl, CO, Cl bond angle 90 degree. Only in one case, that is cis. Next, simple question. 10.3 milligram of O2 is dissolved in a liter of seawater, density 1.03 gram per ml. Concentration of O2 in ppm is? Concentration of O2 in ppm. So it is mass of O2 divided by total mass into 10 raised to 6. Mass of O2, that is 10.3 milligram divided by total mass into 10 raised to 6. Total mass to get, it is given 1.03 gram per ml. 1.03 gram per ml, and we want in a liter. So it will be 1.03 gram in 1 ml. Therefore, 1030 gram in 1 liter. That is 1030 into 10 raised to 3 milligram in 1 liter. So this is the total mass. I took in milligrams because this is in milligram. So the answer is 10.3 divided by 1030 into 10 raised to 3 into 10 raised to 6. This is the answer. So it will be 10.3 and here also 10.3. Then this becomes 5. 5 with this 10. This cancels. The answer you get easily, you get the answer as 10. Easily you get the answer as 10. See, this is mass of oxygen and this is the total mass into 10 raised to 6 is ppm. That is ppm. Now, how do you get the total mass? Total mass you can arrive from here. 1.03 gram 1 ml. 1.03 gram 1 ml. So it is 1030 gram in 1 liter. 1030 into 10 raised to 3 milligram in 1 liter. Because here I have taken in milligram. So both are taken in same unit and you get the answer. Next. Consider the following reactions. A. With the CS3 MgBr, CS3 MgBr, it is Grignard reagent, followed by hydrolysis. You get B. Heated with the copper catalyst, you get 2-methyl-2-butene. 2-methyl-2-butene. That means CH3C, CH3 double bond, CH3. This is what? 2-methyl-2-butene. You started from A. You started from A. By average knowledge of organic mechanism, you can confirm A is nothing but butanol. You can easily confirm A is nothing but butanol. To understand that, moderate level of knowledge of organic mechanism is enough. You see why I am talking like that? Because this, when treated with the Grignard reagent followed by hydrolysis, this is treated with the CH3 MgBr followed by hydrolysis. You will get a tertiary alcohol. You will get a tertiary alcohol. This is a ketone with the CH3 MgBr. You are going to get a tertiary alcohol CH3, C, CH3, OH, CH2, CH3. This, when heated with the copper catalyst, textual information, a tertiary alcohol with the copper catalyst, you get a alkene heated with the copper catalyst. There will be dehydration. H2O will be eliminated. H2O will be eliminated and you get this molecule. So this sequence you can easily come to your mind if you have a average level of organic reaction mechanism in your mind and you have practiced well. And this is the compound A. And what is the question? Mass percentage of carbon in A is, you can easily find there are 4 carbon atoms. So it will be percentage of carbon is equal to 12 into 4 divided by molar mass of this molecule into 100. So find the molar mass of this molecule and arrive into your answer. What is so given? 66.66 something. Next. A sample of milk splits after 60 minutes at 300 Kelvin and after 40 minutes at 400 Kelvin. And the population of Lactobacillus acidophilus in it is doubles. The activation energy for this process is closest to 2. Activation energy for this process is closest to 2. You can apply Arrhenius equation. What is Arrhenius equation? K is equal to A e raised to minus EA by RT, which on derivation you can get log K2 by K1 is equal to EA by 2.303 R T2 minus T1 by T1 T2. Apply two conditions. Apply two conditions. See, this you can get it as log K is equal to log A minus EA by 2.303 RT. Now apply two temperature conditions. You get K1, K2, T1, T2, which you can apply over here to get this equation. Log K2 by K1 is equal to EA by 2.303 R T2 minus T1 by T1 T2. Now we know R is equal to change in concentration by time. Change in concentration by time, and that is equal to K into concentration raised to N. Now see, this K and T are inversely related. K and T are inversely related. So K2 by K1, you can take it as T1 by T2. So you take it as log T1 by T2. Log T1 by T2 equal to EA by 2.303 R T2 minus T1 by T1 T2. What is T1? T1 is 60. What is T2? T2 is 40. I mean time. Small t. So 60 and 40. And the temperature T1 is 300. And the temperature T2 is 400. So here you get log 60 by 40, and that will come out to be log 6 by 4, and that will come out to be log 3 by 2. You can easily solve. It is log 3 minus log 2. Log 3 is 0.477 and log 2 is 0.3010. So you can get log 3 minus log 2. This value you can easily work out. And thereby you can find out what is activation energy. So entire data is given. R value is known to you. Temperature values are given. You can arrive into your final answer. Of course, it requires the mathematical calculation remaining to be done. This log part is going to be log 60 by 40, log 6 by 4. Log 6 by 4 is log 3 by 2. Only to see, regarding the calculation of objective examination, you need to learn only 2 log values. Generally, they will give you the log value. Even if not, you can solve. Only 2 log values you remember, log 2 and log 3. Log 2 is 0.3010, log 3 is 0.477. Any other log value you can manipulate. Log 4, it is log 2 square. You can find out. Log 8, it is log 2 raised to 3. You can find out. Like that. Next. A cylinder containing an ideal gas a cylinder containing an ideal gas 0.1 mole and the volume 1 decimeter cube is in thermal equilibrium with a large volume of 0.5 mole aqueous solution of ethylene glycol at its freezing point. If the stoppers S1 and S2, there are two stoppers shown, S1 and S2, are suddenly withdrawn, the volume of gas in liters, after attaining equilibrium, after achieving equilibrium is. So we have to find the volume of the gas after achieving equilibrium. So it is P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. This is what we need to find out. And the pressure, it is 1 bar. Because after attaining equilibrium means it is a frictionless piston, atmospheric pressure will be the pressure. Now the volume in the initial condition, this you can take it as 1 liter, and now this you need to understand. Once you get this, you get your answer. So how to get the pressure initially before removing the piston? It is an ideal gas, so you can apply P, that is P1, P that is P1 is equal to nRT by V. nRT by V. N is given here. N is given 0.1. R value you know. Volume is given 1. And you don't know the temperature. You don't know the temperature because temperature is not commented. And in order to know the temperature, another thing is given. You see, they are in thermal equilibrium with ethylene glycol. Now it is at the ethylene glycol freezing point. So how to get that temperature? That you need to work out. Delta TF is equal to Kf into M. Kf is given 2. Kf is given 2. So that is 2 into molality is given 0.5. So it is 0.5. That means you get delta TF as 1. That means depression in freezing point 1 unit. Therefore, freezing point will be 272 Kelvin. Because the normal freezing point is 273, 0 degrees Celsius. Now, depression in freezing point is 1 unit. So the temperature is 272 Kelvin. So you can apply that. Now you got the temperature 272 Kelvin. So P is equal to 0.1 into R value 0.08 into 272 divided by volume 1 liter. So you get a P. Once you get a P into 1. Same. Once you get this data, you get your answer. This is what asked for. So this into 1, that is equal to P2. P2 is equilibrium pressure. Equilibrium pressure finally, atmospheric pressure, into volume V2. That volume you can find out, and 2.18 liter you can calculate and work out. Next means the last question. The sum of total number of bonds between chromium and oxygen in chromate and dichromate ions. Sum of total number of bonds between chromium and oxygen atom in chromate and dichromate. Chromate means CrO4 2 minus, CrO4 2 minus, this is chromate. And dichromate is Cr2O7 2 minus, Cr. This is dichromate. So this is chromate and this is dichromate. We want to get the total sum of total number of bonds between chromium and oxygen atom in chromate and dichromate ions is I believe it is only the multiple bonds are not considered. The multiple bonds are not considered, I believe. It is 4 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 plus 4, 8 here. It comes 8 here and 4 here and a total of 12 as the answer. That was the last question. In this session paper also, we don't find much of the tough level question. Only some confusing question like the previous one we have seen. That is ethylene glycol and ideal gas under equilibrium. And one question, there was a small mistake I told you. The stoichiometry of one question is not given. Otherwise, it was a moderate paper, a beautiful paper. And there are so many easy questions available, so many moderate level questions are available, not that much of tough level, 1 or 2 questions we can say. The maximum of 3 or 4 questions we can categorize into tough level question. Okay, there we conclude this one. That is the second shift exam, NEET 2020 paper conducted on January 9th. Okay, thank you. Bye.